Hi, and welcome back to the Everyday Fitness and Wellbeing podcast. It's been a while, but back with this episode where I talked to a personal trainer, Matt Evans, based here in Brighton, and we talk about his competition, Physique competition he did recently, and also body transformations, how realistic and how obtainable they are. So just a short one. Hope you enjoy it. And as ever, I'm going to leave some details in the show notes and on my website as well. Hope you enjoy it. Hi, and welcome to the Everyday Fitness and Wellbeing podcast, where today I'm sat with Matt Evans, a personal trainer, and we're sat looking out to a very windy sea, aren't we, Matt?
Yeah, a windy ocean.
Exactly, just off Brighton Marina. So, Matt, I wanted to quiz you on a recent competition you did, but first it's best you explain who the hell you are and what you do.
Who am I? I am Matt Evans. I work at the Gym Group Brighton. I've been a personal trainer for 12 years and self-employed. And I've been in the fitness industry for pretty much all my life, really. That's all I've ever done.
All right, so what, as a teenager, training in the...
Literally started training when I was 18 because I was a lanky, long-limbed 6'4" boy and decided I wanted to get some muscles and not be teased about looking like Peter Crouch anymore.
Do you think there was a confidence thing?
Yeah,
there?
massively. Yeah. I got teased at school and stuff about that, and so I was just as soon as I was 18, I was like straight in the gym.
Sure.
Literally straight in the gym, and then basically I built a career out of that. That's all I've ever done. I've been a self-employed personal trainer since I was like 21. So. Yeah.
And so recently you took part in a competition, which I want to dig into the preparation of how you actually got there. Already you've given us an insight into the fact that you've been in this lifestyle and industry, so that's preparation. But I want to be more specific to what it took.
Yeah. No worries.
I mean, what competition am I on about? Well, tell
But
me.
was it August 27th? I did the men's physique class over 182 centimeters.
Men's physique class. What on earth are you talking about?
Men's physique. But basically, you've got your classic bodybuilding. So you've got your bodybuilding, massive guys, and then you've got a branch off that to make it more mainstream. They decided to bring in men's physique, which was guys who have more attainable physiques, like try not to be chemically induced. Looks sort of like a beach body, so you'd be wearing board shorts instead of the tiny little pants. Do you know what I mean?
So you did a competition to look like Adonis from being a skinny little rake, teased. You've come all the way to standing up on stage to do this sort of competition.
Full on standing on stage in board shorts and getting judged. Yeah. It's quite an experience. It was good. It was the UK BFF in where was it? Dartford, just near Kent. So that's where I did it, and it's a big arena thing. It wasn't massive. It was just like a theatre, but it was really good. Yeah.
No, I want to talk more about that. Now, these competitions, they appear to have increased in popularity. Would you say?
Yeah, massively. Like everyone seems to do them. Because to be a bodybuilder, you have to be 100% dedicated. 10 years. More than likely going to be doing some sort of steroid or, they were natural bodybuilders as well, but you're going to be at least training for at least probably say 10 years. Whereas men's physique and women's bikini, stuff like that, classes like that, they're kind of more attainable in a sense that you can look like a healthy, not saying that bodybuilders don't, but you can look like a beach body, sort of like have a great six pack, be very symmetrical, and then you could step on stage in board shorts. Your legs aren't getting judged, so which is a big key point. Bodybuilders obviously have huge quads, and that takes so much time to build. Whereas if you're a men's physique competitor, you're just judged on your upper torso, really. So that means it makes it more attainable for people to have a challenge, get really lean, get dry, look really good, ripped, and get on stage. Basically, it just gives them an opportunity to do it without standing in pants and being judged on your whole physique. You're just judged on the upper body. I know that sounds like weird, but
well, the thing is, as I listen to you, and I'm not making a criticism. This podcast is very much geared, or I've been trying to gear it towards Joe Blogs
Yeah.
and Everyday Fitness.
Yeah.
And because of, I understand what you're saying, and probably the listeners do as well, but it's with your background, it's very much from a fitness professional's way of looking at that competition. And yet, on a daily basis, you're working with people coming to you, Joe Blogs, etc.
Yeah.
And that's what I also want to ask you is how is your take on it, having been there and done it, having gone from skinny to, I'm going to take the mickey here, Adonis on stage, and then on a daily basis dealing with, say, a middle-aged man who wants to just to aspire to be able to see his toes past his belly.
Yeah.
I had to think about what to say then. Sort of, you've got, I think you've got a unique perspective that I feel it'd be nice to share, sort of on an everyday fitness level. And interestingly enough, this whole transformation of 12 weeks, etc. For a fitness professional, for someone like you, yes, very obtainable.
Yeah.
How? I'm not saying it's not obtainable for Joe Blogs.
Yeah.
I feel that there's a few people in our industry who make these claims and give those who can do transformations a bad name.
Yeah.
As if it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
As if you can, as if everybody can do it within 12 weeks. I know I've kind of gone off topic here from the competition to transformation.
Well, no, I mean, in a way, because I spent 10 weeks dieting for my show. So you could say that if you give someone like 12-week program to get in good, better shape, you could say it's similar things. But you take an average person who doesn't train very much and you say you cut their calories down, you put them in a massive deficit, and you're going to get them to lose weight, there's no doubt. But how much have they learnt in that 12 weeks about really to sustain what they're at? You know, I had a purpose, which was to get on stage. You know, if somebody has a purpose to do a photo shoot, or they have a purpose they just want to get a bit slimmer for the holiday, but then that isn't a sustainable way of living. Like, you can't say, oh, forever live in this deficit. You can't. You have to. There's more to than transformations in the sense of teaching people healthy eating patterns and how to look at food and understanding food, and not having this either I eat everything in the fridge or I eat nothing in the fridge. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, because a lot of these transformations, they might at the end they might have a six pack and they might be, but they couldn't sustain the diet they've been doing for any longer than 12 weeks because they were burnt out.
I see.
Does that make sense? So it's not a sustainable way of living. So then when they go, well, what do I eat now? And then there's no one there to help them, or there's no one there to guide them and say, you either need to bring your calories back up slowly because you can't go back to where you ate before because you'll just put on loads of like fat. You're probably more likely going to be slightly obsessed with looking the way you are, having abs. I know I was after the competition. I mean, honestly, I mean, when you're lean and you've got your abs out, you feel great, you feel confident, you feel great. But it's very much a psychological thing of like, it's not sustainable. It isn't sustainable to be dry and looking lean all the time and being totally shredded. It's like, so the thing I have a problem with transformations is that, are they a sustainable way for the person to live? No, they're not. They're not sustainable. They haven't taught them, unless they're teaching them about more dietary stuff and they're getting a grip with it, but most of them aren't. It's like quite crash diets in the sense of, just do this and you've got a sheet in front of you and it tells you to eat broccoli, chicken. I'm not saying everyone's like that. Not all of these transformation people are like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you can teach somebody how to learn to do with food and have a healthy relationship with it and understand what they're putting in their body, and you know, you're going to have a more consistent person who can train like that and look like that, or roughly like that, for the rest of their days. Which is the goal, is to have somebody healthy for the rest of their life. From the point they meet me, I want them to enjoy exercise from there. And from that point they decide, oh, I want a personal trainer, I want Matt. From that point, my goal is to make them enjoy what I enjoy, and that's fitness and being healthy, and make it more of a priority in their life. And if I can do that, if they can go away from me, if they don't train with me anymore, but they've gone away from me and they've outgrown me, and they've decided, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to be more active, I want to go mountain biking, things like that, I've done my job, in my opinion. But just if I got them abs, and then that's it, and then they go back to the way they were, I don't feel like I've done my job. That's okay.
There's a lot there.
Sorry, yeah.
No,
I got a rant.
No, it's good. So we're not slating transformations.
Oh, no.
If anything, it's good for anybody being consistent and making a healthy change.
Yeah.
It's just that sustainability
Yeah.
afterwards. And I guess there's similarities with the competition. So let's go back to the competition and go back to the start. You trained, you were dieting for 10 weeks or so.
Yeah.
I mean, day one, when did you come up with the idea? What made you come up with the idea? And then how did you go about it?
Yeah. Well, I always wanted to do a show. I always loved bodybuilding. Always loved the show side of it. You know, having great physique. I always loved that. But the confidence thing of standing on stage is a big thing. You know, posing is always a big thing. I'm not that into all that posing and loving myself and all that sort of stuff. So for me, it was a challenge to experience it, to experience what it felt like to get that lean, to then get on stage, to then just know the feeling of being in that sort of deficit as well, like, and seeing what I'm mentally capable of, all these things.
Deficit.
Yeah.
What do you mean by deficit?
Oh, deficit, like being in a calorie deficit, being in a massive calorie deficit. So my maintenance for me is normally around, I'd say, between 3,000 and 3,500 calories.
So the average man is
Man's
usually
like 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah, average man. I'm 6'4", you know, I weigh like 225, so 225 pounds is about 90. It's about over 100. It's about 100 kilos. That is pretty much 100 kilos. So I take a lot of energy to sustain what I am, but for the show I got down to 1,900 calories. So that was peak week. That was when I'm coming up to the competition. So 2 weeks out, I was on 1,900 calories. Now, I'm not really having any carbs. So I'm not having it was tough. I mean, it was tough. I was hungry all the time. You know, all these things.
And you're still having to train. Now, how often, if we scroll back to you being usually on 3,500 calories, how many? It's a little bit skewed because you're a personal trainer. Yeah. But let's just get it out there. How many times would you generally train on those 3,500 calories in a week?
I normally train between six. I train 6 times a week.
6 times a week. And is that cardio? Is that weights?
It's weights, predominantly weights, and then I'll chuck in some HIIT training or some sort of cardio. But I am very active as well. I play tennis. I go for hikes and mountain bike. I try and be active. So even on the day off, I'll still do stuff with regards to...
It's very much your lifestyle.
Yeah, it's what I love doing, yeah. But I can't sit still for very long.
Right.
Like sitting in his car now, struggling.
I know, we were at a cafe open air just before it started raining.
It's windy and raining.
Yeah, but so you had to create this calorie deficit. Did you increase your training regime of 6 times a week, or did you?
No, I kept it. I mean, I had a few more rest days too. I mean, when I'm on that low, the training isn't going to be very good. It's going to be kind of, you know, I'm not going to grow. I'm just going to be getting leaner. So it's just maintenance, keeping the muscles, trying to stay strong, stay pumped. You know, I'm not going to be growing or anything like that. So the purpose to it was towards the end of the last 2 weeks was just to keep the blood going in the muscles, keep myself looking good, keep pumped. So yeah, it was never a sustainable way of training. That it was just a purpose of just get as shredded as possible, burn calories, burn fat.
The thing is, you've already laid down the foundation. Yeah. So hence you were
shrink wrapping.
You were just shrink wrapping.
I'm shrink wrapping what I had underneath my body fat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, middle-aged man or woman.
Yeah.
Or let's say, I mean, I've found this quite intriguing because social media, we've said it's increased in popularity.
So much, yeah.
These competitions, and I'll see on social media there's a lot of young guys who've got loads of time.
Yeah.
They may not have, I'm assuming here, they may not have mortgages or children. And they're able to dedicate a lot of time to going down the gym.
Massively,
and focusing incessantly on their food, etc.
Yeah.
But if we look at the average person who sometimes struggles to get down they'll be happy to get down the gym twice,
Yeah.
maybe 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Some of our clients where they'd be happy to just do one or two weight sessions, or they may be obsessed with cardio, and just want to do because they like it and they feel good, and there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever, and just as important for heart health, etc., and the other benefits of cardio.
Yeah.
But to get to the point, how would they? Let's try and imagine, how would they go from I do a little bit of maintenance fitness to actually getting on the stage? Is it even realistic? Or are we
what, from little to stage? Thing is, you need muscle maturity, and that takes time, a lot of years of weight training. You could do it, but you need to set yourself years to do it. Like, it's not a short-term thing when it comes to getting on stage or something like that. You can obviously diet. You could have a purpose of maybe dieting for a photo shoot, or you could have just set yourself up a photo shoot, or set yourself a challenge or something. You can have a purpose like that. That's great. But the stage is getting on stage is by no means any. It was something I did for me, purely for me. It wasn't. It was just purely for me to experience it and do it. I mean, the average person in the gym, there's so many more factors to their life. I live in the gym pretty much. That's my job. I mean, I'm lucky in that sense as to what it is. But when you have to look at somebody else's life in a sense of, there's so many more factors to life than just training. If you're trying to fit it in, or you've got this little in time, depends how much they want it. There's so many factors that come into doing something like that, undertaking a challenge, and it can be the challenge can be broken up. The end goal could be to get on stage in, say, 2-3 years, something like that. But you just keep setting yourself little goals. If it's just to get a little bit leaner, set yourself a weight, a little bit of this, sustainable, and learning and enjoying the process of weight training.
So you're saying it wouldn't be realistic for an average 30s, 40s and upwards to entertain in say 2 months, 3 months, 6 months to be on stage as such, unless they'd had a similar background.
Well, the thing is, it's open to anyone can get on stage.
Of course,
it's not like they're going to go, no, you can't do it. If you pay and you're willing to do it, you're willing to diet, you can. But it's how you want to. If you're comfortable to get on stage and know that you're not going to be in competition with these guys who are there, who are, some of them are pros, some of them they look incredible. When I was there, I was dwarfed by some of these guys. Honestly, they were amazing. They looked incredible, and your ego takes a bit of a bashing when you stood next to someone who looks like that.
And that's from someone who trains 6 days a week.
Honestly,
and is.
But some of these dudes, some of these guys, they look incredible, and they, when you're next to them, you feel a bit dwarfed and this and that. So it's quite a humbling experience for me. It was quite humbling in the sense of, also my competitive side came out, but it was a good experience. So to go from that to standing on stage, you could do it, no doubt, but would you be comfortable doing it? I doubt it. That's the problem. You wouldn't enjoy the process. You probably might not enjoy the day. You might not enjoy the glamour side of it, being on stage and saying that I've been on stage, I've done this. If that's what you all want to do and go and talk about it, you can. Of course you can do that. Anyone can do that. But if you're for yourself, like I came away and I felt good. I felt good about it. I was proud of myself. I'd done dieting. I knew what I wanted to do next, in the sense I want to get back on stage and do it again, but I wanted this time to do better. That was my challenge. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's, because you see all these things on Instagram, YouTube things, all these things. They're great, but they do breed this sense of, you can make lots of money out of doing it, or you can be this way, or that's the be all and end all, to have a six pack all the time. Most of these people don't have six packs all the time. They only post pictures of themselves that they do. I mean, so they'll be in great shape for a set amount of time, and then they'll take as many pictures, do photo shoots, and then they'll just put those pictures up. They won't show you when they're bulking or when they're off season, when they're not like going to go on stage and they've got carrying more body fat and they're growing. So does that make sense? They don't show that always. Or they edit the pictures. Do you know what I mean? You can never know what you're looking at. It's an image it can be. So the stuff they can do now is crazy.
Wow.
It's mental. They can adjust it and twist it and make you look like you've got 20-inch arms when you've actually only got like 15-inch arms. Do you know what I mean?
Wow,
You can do all that sort of stuff now.
I have to admit, I haven't researched the competition side of things until really speaking to you.
Yeah.
So that's something I'll do a little bit more research on myself as well. But it's hearing from the horse's mouth, someone who's been there and had a go.
Yeah.
And you're happy with where you placed, so to speak?
I mean, I didn't place at all. I don't even know what I got, but I was happy to get on stage, happy that I did what I did. It was really good experience. And next time, I would like to place top 3 or try to. There's no reason why I couldn't. I'm happy to work hard and everything like that. But for the first one, I was happy to get up there, do it, experience the dieting, and it would have gone either way. I would have hated it or I would have loved it, and it went the way that I really enjoyed it. So people there were lovely. Everything was really good. There was no arrogance. There's all these assumptions you make about people with muscle, but they're actually normally highly insecure people who don't think they're good at all. When you speak to them, they're actually normally quite humble, or like they're like, really, oh, I look good, yeah. I mean, when I was stood next to this guy, he was massive, and I was like, you look amazing, mate. And he was like, really? Oh, thanks. And he really appreciated. He was like, really? Do you think so? I was like, yeah. And I thought expecting him to be a bit like, oh yeah, no, cheers, mate. But the way that a lot of people who have these muscles and stuff, they always tend to come from either an insecure place normally. So it's quite
What tips would you give for someone having a go, or
what, to get on stage?
Well, I think we've covered that, really, haven't we? Well, maybe in a nutshell, someone who comes to you tomorrow. Tomorrow, I want to be on stage. I've never done it before. I'm only at the gym 3 times a week, but I do a body pump class. I like that, and I do a bit of spinning on a Thursday. And I've recently done the 5-2 diet. What do you reckon?
You have to completely change a lot of stuff in order to get on stage. You're gonna have to start training some weights, building some muscle, getting a physique underneath the body fat, having something to shrink wrap.
So there'd be a more structured
so
plan.
Much, massive plan, massive goal. It has to be that'll be a long distance goal.
So it's not a quick fix at all.
No, I mean, if you've already got a great physique and you've been doing it for X amount of years and you look amazing,
you've got the
already. You've got the foundation. You're like, oh, give it a go, boom. Yeah, you could do that. There's no doubt. But if you're going from 0 to stage, you're just going to be in for a big shock as to regards to the dedication it takes, the selfishness as well. It's the big key, the selfishness of it. To sacrifice your eating and your maybe my girlfriend was like, she was like, oh, well, you can't do that. You can't go out for meals. You can't do this sort of stuff when you've got certain things you're eating, certain calories you're hitting. You just can't do that sort of stuff anymore. You can't go out drinking with your friends. You have to turn down the chance to go to barbecues because you're going to be surrounded by food that you're thinking temptation, or being there, and then everyone's like, oh, so how's it going? There's lots of things you're going to have that are going to be obstacles, and people saying my girlfriend said I looked like Skeletor when I was like, my face was gaunt, my cheekbones were showing. She'd never seen me like that, and she was like, oh, you look really gaunt. You don't look that good. Healthy, yeah. But then that's why they spray you up with that tan.
Yeah.
That's why you pretty much get.
I'm glad you mentioned that. What on earth is that tan about? Yeah, I know, but let's tell the listeners.
Yeah.
Why on earth are they trying to look Afro-Caribbean?
This is literally because the lights are so harsh on the stage. When you're on stage, you look normal, so you look like you just got a really nice tan. You look great. You look like you're really healthy. But then when you get off stage, you just look mental. I look mental. It was amazing. I sent pictures to my friends, and they were all like, "What the hell have you done?" It's amazing, and the stuff doesn't come off for ages. I was like, a week later, I was still scrubbing my legs trying to get it off.
And it's for definition.
Yeah, for definition. Yeah,
sure,
so you can see the lights. You can see all your muscles and your abs and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
And you look great. You get oiled up before you go on.
Oiled up as well.
Yeah, like this oil stuff they put on you, and it's it's really it's quite it's good. It's good fun. It is good fun. It is fun. You're like all shiny and pumped, and you're like, woo!
Yeah. crazy, crazy.
It is good.
And there we have it. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. And listen up for the next one. Thanks again. Bye bye.